Hey, everybody.
Hey,
welcome in-laws.
Oh yeah, welcome Tony's in-laws. Welcome.
Wait, Tony has
Yeah.
in-laws?
Yeah, his in-laws are watching us, and so we were told to be extra spicy.
I thought he was a single homeless man.
He is not. He actually has a beautiful wife who is like 10 steps up above him.
And we don't know how that happened.
We don't. I mean, I can only assume baby holding an apple.
What's up, my
We don't need to disparage Tony this early in the show.
All right, let's say hi to
Bobby.
everybody.
This is Bobby's Crypt. Let me intro the show.
Go for it.
I'm just kidding. We should probably establish who does that before we go live. My name is Bobby. This is Bobby's Cryptid Corner. This is the show where we talk about cryptids and all things weird, spooky, folklore, paranormal, high strangeness. Try to tie it all together. We got the full 5-point star with us tonight. We already mentioned Tony. He's here. We'll skip right past him and go to the goat.
Hello, Bree. So excited to be here for Thunderbirds.
And right below Bree is...
Hello, I'm Jamie. I'm your friendly neighborhood ghost.
Oh.
I'm KARI. I can actually read.
Okay, big deal.
And KARI is going by... KARI is Monkey Brain.
Monkey Brain.
Jamie can not only not read, she can also not pronunciate things. That's ironic.
Or spell.
Pronunciate.
Facts.
Go
Triple
self-explanatory. Tony is our local game warden. He is the wildlife expert, if there ever was one, on Bobby's Cryptid Corner. And I'm going by Bird tonight from a la Sesame Street Snuffleupagus.
Allah Akbar. What?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's what you said. That's what you were saying.
Hey, Jamie, I cut you off earlier. Why don't you do the shout-outs this
Absolutely.
morning?
Hello, Nightmare. Hello, Renee Cruz. Hello, Hides and Longgrass. Hey, Enzo. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, Tommy, you're handsome. Who else we got?
Enzo
Vanessa. Vanessa's here. Also, my internet crush, Hot Jeff, is here. Hey, Hot Jeff. Good to see you. Greg is here and being weird as always. Michael is here. Hey, boo-boo, how you doing? Well, that should be pretty much all. Oh, wait. Oh, and Danielle's here. Hey, Danielle.
Hello, everyone.
Don't just haphazardly shout out Danielle.
Oh yeah,
hi, Danielle.
Watching.
You
So
beautiful, beautiful angel.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
So we're covering Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah, tonight we're going to talk about Thunderbirds. I'm going to preface a little bit by saying that this is more or less a global phenomenon that transcends time all the way back to antiquity to modern times. However, much of our focus this evening will be on the North American. Well, they're not all called Thunderbirds everywhere. They're just giant birds. We're going to call them Thunderbirds tonight because we're focusing on North America. It's a really packed topic because it combines, it's a confluence, if you will, of everything we do Bobby's Cryptid Corner for, because it's a nice balance of folklore, ancient history, and modern, pretty compelling accounts, right? And we're going to get all into that. So we're going to get all up in them Thunderbird guts tonight, is what I'm trying to say.
I have to say, I feel like all of us get up in the guts of everyone we're around all the time.
Oh yeah.
That's the kind of crew we are.
What you mean?
Everybody needs to understand that Bobby is fucking this chicken and we are watching these feathers fly.
Hey.
Oh my God.
I'm scared.
Metaphorically speaking, of course. This is an artist rendition of a Thunderbird, but let's get into the description. Well, no, let's get into the cryptid hazard meter. This is part of the description, I'd say.
It definitely is.
I don't know. I defaulted to high risk on this one when I made this slide. Are we in any disagreement there?
No, I would agree with this one. Giant bird that could pick you up with its giant claws and take you away. Yeah, scary.
Oops. Sorry.
And for as uncommon as the like modern sightings are, a good portion of them is like, at least one super famous one is like a child being picked up by it, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that one later. Absolutely.
like farm animals being like livestock
Pickens.
picked up by these things. So yeah, I would say it's a high risk, not only frequency, also level of aggression. Do not engage, will steal children and other small humans like elves, as you see portrayed.
That's
not a child with a toboggan on. That is an elf.
I was like, wait, is there gonna be? I was like, wait, don't tell me there's this weird Santa Claus connection.
Oh God, no! Please, no. Probably. You have to ask yourself: was Santa's sleigh really just some kind of Thunderbird? All right. Description's pretty self-explanatory, especially this first bullet point. It's a large bird-like. I didn't put bird-like creature because there wasn't enough room because I wanted to really focus in on that photo there. I found this photo in a lot of places, but for whatever reason, I could find zero context as to where it's from. I'm sure if I looked like maybe 5 minutes longer, I could have, but
no, that tends to be a problem with these Firebird pictures, and it still actually come up at our Thunderbirds again when we talk about something else. It's
the Pontiac Firebird.
Sorry, yeah, I'm thinking about cars. The Thunderbirds, like these giant pictures. There's a lot of weird, there's weirdness around it, whether or not that this is real or not, or if this is just something that was like they made this prop and then took a picture in front of it and they attached it to a story for like a news article, and it wasn't really the picture taken from an actual event, but more done after the fact, and that pops up a lot throughout the story.
That's a super interesting point you bring up, and I didn't even think about this. Like, as far as photographs like this, you think about like yellow journalism or like hoaxers. It's a lot easier to hoax a giant stuffed bird than like say something like a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like there was, what's his name? Oh God, I can't think of his name. He's like a really famous Bigfoot hunter, but like he went on the news probably about 15 years ago, and he's like, we got a body in the cooler and everything.
Oh yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I forgot that guy's Biscardi. Reed? Tom Biscardi. And everyone's just like, what, dude? Anyway, that's a tougher huck to pull there, right? But a large bird, like what? No context here. It's just big feather looking things on like a black silhouette. You don't get to see the features of its face like you would a Bigfoot or something like that. Anyways, usually it's described as being gray or black or grayish black or yellow. Am I right, Joe 5D?
Ayo.
Yellow.
He just said, yeah.
Joe 5D would know.
Well, he just said, what about Big Bird? I was just, yeah. We're hearing reports of everything from a 10 to 25 wingspan.
That's quite a scale.
There
are other birds that could be 10 feet wide.
And that's a very interesting point. I think Tony's going to touch on that just a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
The point is a 10 feet wingspan is pretty fucking enormous, though, regardless, whether it's a known bird or not. It'd still be super scary. Sometimes attributed to having lightning eyes, hence the name Thunderbird, affiliated with storms, oftentimes in like the folklore, like it's seen right before the storms. And then I was watching a documentary, and famous cryptozoologist Kim Gerhard was like, we might have some scientific explanation for that. If they are real, perhaps giant birds would need like the updrafts of an oncoming storm to actually like
get up and fly.
I don't know. I think
so that's why you see him.
I think he was just spitting game there, but I like it. I like the idea. I like where his head's at.
It's fine bullshitting at its best.
Well, I mean, it was all very speculative. He was just riffing there. So dates back to antiquity, but still reported to get it. Now you got to remember too, and we'll talk about it as we normally do. Modern accounts are sometimes a little different with these types of things. In this case, we have more of a pterodactyl or like a pterodon creature. And then in Chicago, as of relatively recently, like 2017, we're looking at more of like a flying humanoid, almost like a Mothman, if you will. So it kind of runs the gamut as far as aviation-based cryptids. And I think context is important there, but remind me to go back to context when we get to it.
Yes, sir. Context. Ooh,
Location.
we're everywhere.
Again, this is global. However, I will point out a lot of the folklore comes from the Pacific Northwest. You'll see the totem poles and things like that with the Thunderbird. You have accounts as well as folklore in the Southwest, Arizona region, Southwest Indian type stuff, Native Americans. And then in various other places in the country, but a big hot spot. You know what? I was thinking about this today. I don't think that the Midwest gets enough love as far as its cryptid concentration goes.
I was like, I don't think the Midwest gets much of anything.
I know. To be honest, I don't even know
Tony.
most of the states. I'm like, oh yeah, where is this? I had to look up like where Iowa was the other day. I was like, where the fuck is this? I only know like
You know those people that make your
California.
food? That's where they
Yeah.
are.
I pay attention to
Actually, technically, if we want to get real about farming, America does a huge portion of the world's farming.
America.
I mean,
Yeah.
California.
America.
California, my ass.
California is
Yeah.
it's literally its biggest output is agriculture and
Illegal
tech as
immigrants.
much as people think.
Yeah. So fuck out of here, Tony.
Fuck out of here.
Fuck
You
outta
wish you
here.
had our
We
weather.
grow
You
up-
wish you had our weather.
We have all the meth. You live in Nevada. Shut up.
They are
It's true.
Her heart is in California.
world's largest producer of affluent
Oops.
White
communist.
people.
No, but my point is with the Midwest, you have a lot of dogman sightings in the Midwest.
Mhm.
Are they
It's a
communist?
bit of an underrated region for Bigfoot sightings. It's not too far from Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Mhm.
West
Um,
Virginia.
I think the Beast of Bray Road, I want to say, is in Wisconsin.
That's
Um,
in the
and-
Midwest, yeah.
Yeah. And then in this case, it is I would say the number one hotspot for Thunderbird sightings in the United States. So we're talking about along the Mississippi down Illinois. So the west side of Illinois, specifically a town called Alton, which we'll get to in a moment. All right. Give me some traditional mythology, Bree.
Traditional mythology. So you touched base a little bit about the upper, I guess it would be northeast-ish, in North America. So Canada, we're talking like Ontario, Quebec, all of the Algonquin peoples, which is more than 12 tribes total. We have touched on other cryptids before that also came from the Algonquin tribes. Actually, I think Bigfoot like the Wendigo, Wendigo, and a lot of course, Bigfoot. Those were also a big part of Algonquin tribe mythology. So in their culture, Thunderbirds were a powerful native spirit, and they were bird-like creatures, but also avian humanoid hybrids in a spirit form. They were also referred to as thunderers and thunder beings, which makes more sense. So the Thunderbird is the ruler of the upper world. So obviously the sky, everything that's above ground, the ruler, life-giving ruler. So they dwell in the sky, and they are responsible for creating storms. So also the spring rain, which makes them very important. We all know that natives appreciated these supernatural but elemental, almost spirit-like figures throughout their folklore. So again, they're, like Bobby mentioned earlier, their eyes were supposedly could shoot lightning, and the flaps of their wings was so loud that it was like thunder, so it could create thunder. And they were opposing and constantly in war with the underworld, the other rulers of the underworld, which were aquatic animals or serpents. Yeah. These words are going to be really fun.
Should we talk about the drinking game before we get into this?
I didn't even add it because I'm
go
just
ahead.
like, you know,
just go ahead and drink through the whole thing.
This is
I'm like, I don't want to keep doing it.
To me.
So technically, the rule is drink every time any of us mispronounces anything.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna look for the logic to that.
Okay.
he brought
Abwe.
drink.
Oi,
Yeah,
oi,
drink.
we.
I don't think any of us will get this right. So
I think it's a Ouija. I think it's a Ouija.
No.
No,
there's
there's
Ojibwe.
Jay.
literally a fucking bee in there.
Ojibwe.
Ojibwe. Ojibwe.
Usually, OJI usually will come out like we, won't it?
Not in.
Yeah, that's French. Yes, it will, because it's French, and Canada is very French. So you have to think about it French.
Fuck what Canada
Weeboo.
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 Okay, I'm going with weeboo.
Can anyone phonetically spell out this word in the chat, please?
Weeboo.
I'm gonna say Anamiki.
And there will be more phonetically spelled.
Weeboo. The weeboo language Thunderbird is Anamiki. The weeboo,
I like it.
the weeboo version of the Thunderbird. It was created by Nana Bosho, also Nana Bush. Can you stop?
Ew, Nana's bush.
Who is a trickster spirit, and it is this almost like bunny-eared trickster spirit. Although it was highly a trickster, it was also seen as being a hero because overall it created the Thunderbird to protect humans. So also like a hero figure. And is a big part of their creation stories. So Nana Bush created the Thunderbird to fight against. Why are we laughing?
Funny.
To fight against the underworld evil spirits again. The aquatic beings, the aquatic serpent. So the Thunderbird would arrive in spring and then headed south in fall. So you could also look at that as like the seasons. Because he, obviously is creating the rain. So it's raining when springtime and then it's heading out. So, you can kind of see the connection there. So overall, the Thunderbird was known as being the spirit of the sky realm and therefore bridging spirit and the physical world, which meant it was a very sacred being.
I feel like I'm reading a cutscene from a Legend of Zelda game right now.
Oh shit! What was that?
Yeah, a little bit.
That scared me. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Menominee.
Menominee. And Menominee.
Just
Menominee.
Me nominee.
Yeah.
I'm drinking regardless.
See Menominee.
See a nominee.
I will also like to say, so like the Weebaway. That tribe is so huge. A lot of it was really condensed in the Four Corners region. And like Bobby mentioned, like around Arizona and all that. And there is already so much folklore mixed in with the Four Corners. So this is just another layer on top of that. So in Menominee, and this is in northern Wisconsin.
Oh,
Wisconsin.
Thunderbirds were the ancestors who helped to create the universe, which is a lot like the other tribes. It's just instead of being created to help, it was their ancestor, their direct ancestor that created the universe.
Oh.
They tell stories of the Thunderbirds that lived on this mountain, this huge mountain, and it would just go around in the sky, just floating there in the air.
It's
and that
Skoy, actually.
helped to create a what?
You have to pronounce your skies David Childress style. It's Skoy.
A skoy.
Skoy.
Some kind of great mountain in the skoy.
Nair. I won't. Nair.
Skoy.
Could it be they created the rain? Or is it the Rhine?
The rain.
Roy.
Des Moines.
It's not Roy.
Wisconsin's. Thunder Mountain.
Wisconsin.
nesting place of the
Wisconsin.
Thunderbirds.
So it's
The
clearly
Thunderbirds. Yes, you
Clearly-
have to.
Of the Thunderbirds. He says everything like up
No,
and
it's
down.
Thunderbirds. You have to say two different tones.
Thunderbird.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna listen to like 8 hours straight of just David Childress talking, so I can nail the. I just want to be able to just flip it on and off and read these entire slides in his voice. It's gonna happen.
Honestly, if
Have you seen the
anyone,
ball one? That one's the best. We should
If-
watch that sometime.
if anyone in the chat could please make an AI and feed it a bunch of David Childress so that we can type at things and it says things as David Childress, that is the AI we want and need.
I have
Thank
a
you very
feeling one of
much.
our friends in the chat will be able to make that happen.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
If anyone
not
in the
gonna be
chat
difficult
could
at
do
all.
that, please, that would be great. We need that.
18 seasons of Ancient Aliens. I think the AI's got plenty to work with.
That's what I'm saying. So
oh,
much
it
to work
does.
with.
It's in there for sure.
Some kind of way. Exactly.
These were the big ones, but obviously, like, they're all in the area. And the petroglyphs of the Thunderbirds, I mean, they're all over the states, all of the connecting states in that area. This one's in Wisconsin. This one's in Wyoming. A lot of.
Hold on, Bree. That picture in Wyoming above the big giant chicken, is that
Yeah.
just a dude
So I
with,
picked this.
with big hands and a giant dick walking around?
Yes,
that's the
but what
fucking
about this
gray
one? This
alien.
is a fucking gray alien.
This is some
Because
kind
he's
of
trying to
gray
get some
alien.
strange.
Yeah. Oh wow, this is like kind of a Book of Enoch looking thing. Like you got the humans hybrid breeding with the aliens, the Watchers.
Yeah.
And you got some
So
Thunderbirds.
because there's just
Bit of a
so many of
stretch.
them, but this one popped out to me the most, obviously.
Oh, it popped
So
out
I'm
to
like,
me
that
too.
one. Yeah,
The
but
one with
see,
the boner, you had to go with it.
Yeah,
I
had
didn't
to go
see
with
the boner. I only saw the gray alien.
I see.
Well,
Yeah.
to me, I think it's interesting too because it's like they're almost presenting themselves to the aliens with their boners. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh,
when-
take a peek."
When it comes to
That's
my
it.
own subjective pareidolia, I see gray aliens before I see a man with an enormous erection.
No, I did
No,
too.
yeah,
I
for
didn't
sure.
even
Tony,
notice
not so
it.
much, I guess.
No,
I
Tony
didn't even
goes,
notice
he goes
very-
straight to dicks.
Tony spends a lot of time in locker rooms.
I honestly, I had no idea. I can't believe I missed that.
Wow.
But
There's literally
Don't
a
got
dude like
dick
But
on the
now-
brain.
now they're
boner,
just-
and underneath
They all have
the dude
boners.
is like a bird.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
And the
that
bird
bird
kind
that-
of
is
looks
that-
like it's.
Does that bird have a boner?
It looks like the bird came already. Honestly.
Oh, he's laying eggs.
But why
Ah,
is that
it
more?
is.
Why is that more important than the fucking gray alien? Though
The gray like
what
took a
the-
poo. You can see the gray pooing by its feet.
A little bit by its foot, yeah. Again, maybe it dropped a load.
This is so juvenile. I'm
It's
almost
very-
40.
Oh shit!
Ah.
And this
This
one
is-
over
Anyway,
here is, like,
back to
really
Nana's
boring.
bush.
That one's really boring.
They talk about Barbara
I think
Bush
that's
like
a brilliant piece of petroglyph.
This one's amazing. I would love to see that in person. So overall, yes, I think what we're gonna really dive into with you guys is the more typical cryptid side of Thunderbirds, but really it was based in Native American folklore and it being a spirit, a helper of humanity, and then it appears like that kind of changes in the following stories that we will hear, as where they're not really, something that you would maybe pray for and worship and felt like you had a sacred connection because they're there to protect you. That seems to change, right?
Next slide, please.
All right.
Okay, I want to talk. I had this one in there last minute there, Bree.
Oh,
This is
what
a
is
Yeah.
it?
some sort of petroglyph of what's called the piazza bird. And this is
This is a
based on-
petroglyph. This isn't graffiti.
not petroglyph, whatever you call it. Someone fucking painted on the side of a rock. of a
Okay, yeah,
cliff.
graffiti.
Is that a petroglyph?
No, it's fucking graffiti.
No.
But
This
it's
is
cool.
from,
It's a mural.
This is like from a long ass time ago. This was
So
from
that would be a petroglyph. Graffiti is what you put on trees.
Yeah, but
that
let
don't
me.
crash
So what
into-
happened was they actually destroyed it and then they repainted it, and this is the repainted one. Because basically what it represents, the Indians of that region, which is southwest Illinois. I can't remember the tribe off the top of my head, to be honest with you, but basically the legend was, this is kind of the intro to the modern lore of the I guess aggressive maleficent Thunderbird. But basically people debate whether or not this is actually representing a Thunderbird. Either way, it was a flying creature that really more or less demanded sacrifice. It would come into the little tribes areas, little villages or whatever, pick up children, or they had like a spot where they had to go and like feed the fucking piazza bird. And eventually the chief gathered up 11 of his guys, and they went up to the little cliff where they sacrificed children to this thing and lured it out, and the 11 warriors came out of hiding and murdered it, and
shit, son.
Put an end to this bad motherfucker. We don't know. Of course, Native Americans of the region acknowledge this as a real thing that happened. But anyway, there was a mural or a petroglyph, whatever we decided this thing was. They painted on there, and it was like a local thing you do. You would shoot arrows at it as you boated by or whatever, or shot rifles at it.
Fuck you, Piazza.
Eventually, the original was destroyed in the 1800s. That they repainted it in the later 1800s, I believe.
You know what it reminds me of?
This like a scorpion thing? Oh yeah, go ahead, Kari. I'm sorry.
It reminds me of the Chinese dragons.
Yes, very much so.
Mm-hmm. Or like
but
a griffin.
The antlers throw me off.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wait,
Griffin
and then
is
this thing, I'm
a
like,
griffin's the one that's like an eagle's head with a lion, right?
Yeah.
What's the one with a lion's head, but it's like looks like
a sphinx?
Scary is what it is.
Yeah,
It's like a
there's like
a lion's head
on a
with
classic,
like an eagle body.
Yeah,
I want to say, or like the
Chat will know.
opposite.
Chat can let us know.
Chat will know. Where's Enzo? Enzo knows everything. Yeah, the antlers are weird, and I don't know why I keep staring at this thing. This like
it almost has some.
No one can even see my
called?
mouse.
Indigo vibes to it with the antlers.
Yeah, for sure. But like, what is
Manicore?
Does it have stingers?
Yeah.
Manicore?
It's got a fucked up underbite. Like it's got.
Can you get a picture of a manicore real quick? Yeah, don't worry about it.
Manicore. Hold on, wait.
Manticore.
Okay. Yeah,
it's gonna drive me nuts because I can see it in my head, but I can't articulate it in my head.
I have it, but I'm not. I don't want to fuck up the screen. All right. Sorry, are we moving on? Oh no.
Do Wendigos not have an? Oh, yep. There we go.
It's Manicore.
Somebody's. This is a very much a.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Is that Tony?
Okay, that's fucking scary.
I'm into
that.
Oh, can you hear something in my background?
Wait, do Wendigos not have antlers, Vanessa?
In yours, yes. Wendigos? No, they don't have antlers.
Yes, they do. Sometimes they do have antlers. Want to bet?
Okay, this is not the Wendigo debate episode.
5.
I brought it up though. I apologize.
Bree, is someone blowing on pipes in your background? Is that what it is? It sounds like
just the California flooding.
Actually, it's just my neighbors vacuuming because they're dicks.
Oh, gotcha.
See, I love my nice, quiet Dyson vacuum. No one can hear it.
Are we in a vacuum? Nobody can hear you vacuum.
Jaimie, tell us about the Tombstone Thunderbird.
All right. So, April 26th, 1890, the Tombstone Epitaph published an incredible article that 6 gunslingers were shooting, and they shot the Tombstone Thunderbird right out of the sky. Now, this is another one of those instances where later in life, this photo got associated with the story, but this photo has absolutely no association with the story and no history whatsoever, and could possibly be one of those things where it's just kind of made up, and it was like a prop, and they took a picture, and we kind of have no idea about this one. So
it's deep state disinformation is what it is.
it quite honestly could be. So the newspaper reported that that two ranchers had discovered a winged monster, which had been recovered from a long flight. After overcoming their astonishment, the men proceeded to hunt the bird via horseback for several miles. While the bird put up a fight, it was eventually killed via the several blasts of the Winchester rifles of the cowboys. The men measured the creature, determining it to be 160 feet in length and 50 inches in diameter. Its head was around 8 feet long, with its wings at about 78 feet each in length. It was summarized by the newspaper as resembling a huge alligator with an extremely elongated tail and had an immense pair of wings. While other newspapers later recirculated the story, it was never elaborated on the men that killed the bird, nor mentioned or provided any photographs of the incident. Eventually, the story would be forgotten for many decades, only to rematerialize in 1963 issue of Saga. And this is where this photo was attached to it. So according to the author of that article, Jack Pearl, the incident was reported in 1886's edition of the Tombstone Epitaph, and he was the first one to compare it to the Thunderbird. And so this is kind of where like it got more of its Thunderbird name. It wasn't necessarily in the original article called a Thunderbird, more just like a big giant bird. And so John Pearl, the reason we think of the Tombstone Thunderbird as a Thunderbird and with this picture is because of his article that he put out years later.
Now, I just got to point out this artist depiction on the right-hand side. You got to remember grown men were like 4 feet tall back then. But we're still looking, that said, like a 20-foot wingspan right there.
Yeah, and the reason
this is real.
Yeah, and the reason I have this picture here is because it is John kind of like alleged that there is a real photo that the ranchers took. It just never got out. And this is a description of what he said he saw in that photo. And it was the bird that was nailed to the barn and then all the men standing with their arms out in front of it like that to show how big it was.
Dope.
Mm-hmm. Next slide, BB.
So on this one, you got to just consider Tombstone, Arizona. I mean, relatively newly settled by the whites, I guess is the way to put it. And maybe it was just the first time they saw a big motherfucking bird in the sky, shot it down, and it's just some sort of, by today's standards, what we would consider like some sort of condor or vulture or something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing the skeptic wrench in the gears. It
also could have just been like a really fucking big eagle that they had never seen before or something like that. Like, 100%. And then they took the story out of proportion because that's what you did in that time to sensationalize and sell newspapers for,
that's like what you do in all times.
But I'm saying, like, exactly, especially back then, they really fucking spiced things up back then. It was real fucking boring. So I would imagine, of course, that's why they didn't put the names of who was involved or anything like that so that nobody can actually follow up on the story. I'm sure something vaguely like that happened. And that's why the picture was never associated because the picture was probably just a big bird that was like the size of a person.
Totally. Yeah. You sit around, you tell like you said, these people were fucking bored. You sit around, you tell campfire stories around the cattle drive at night.
Exactly.
You tell about the time those dudes shot down a Thunderbird down in Tombstone, Arizona. And then that story turns into what it is today, that they shot down a Thunderbird. But
and then you die of dysentery. I mean,
exactly.
Tombstone's pretty famous on its own too. Syphilis. So like that's a cool additive part to Tombstone, I guess.
For sure.
Totally.
They started with the cryptid bringing in the Taurus low real early.
Yeah. And I mean, that's like super, ghost cowboy town.
All right, give us the next one.
Down that pterodactyl.
All right, so the next one we have, Bree, is 1977, Lawndale, Illinois, Thunderbird attack. So in 1977, a giant bird attacked and tried to carry away a 10-year-old boy in central Illinois. Illinois. Fuck, I can't say Illinois. Illinois. In front of multiple witnesses.
Drive me fucking crazy. This is not a slight against you, Bree, but when people do the hard S on the Illinois, it drives me nuts.
Illinois?
I'm gonna drink
Illinois.
every time I hear
it. It's Illinois and wrong. Next slide, Bree.
No,
not the next slide. Leave this one here.
Yeah, leave this
Okay.
one here.
So, because I want you to see the picture over here on the left. This is the actual mom and the little boy of the story. So
That's
in
from the
19
newspaper article.
Yes, it is. In 1977, a giant bird attacked and tried to carry away a 10-year-old boy. Oh, I already read that. Sorry. Ruth, the matriarch of the Lowell clan, was cleaning up the kitchen when she couldn't see her children. She heard a piercing scream and she knew it was none other than her 10-year-old son. When she ran outside to see what the commotion was, she was stunned. Two massive birds flying in a tight wingtip formation were chasing her son, pecking and clawing at his shoulders. As Ruth ran to her son's aid, the larger of the two birds sunk their claws into his shirt, fully lifting the 56-pound boy off of the ground. But the birds were no match for the mother's defense. Ruth kept attacking the bird, and it dropped her now terrified son to the ground after carrying him a distance of over 35 feet. When the Lowells went to the police, they were loud.
The CIA has censored this.
Now get me this straight. A giant bird attacked your nephew? In her statement.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I thought you were done.
Oh, no, absolutely
ahead,
not. Where was I? In her statement to the police, Ruth described the bird as such. It had a white ring around its half-foot long neck. The rest of the body was very black. The bird's bill was 6 inches in length and hooked at the end. The claw on its feet were arranged with a 3 in the front and 1 in the back. Each wing less the body was 4 feet at the very least. The entire length of the bird's body from beak to feather was approximately 4.5 feet. So what's interesting is like her whole family really like looked into all of this and they were literally laughed out. They were like, oh my God, you're crazy. So then the family went and hired like a team to investigate to try to see if they could go find the like where this bird lived. And allegedly they did find somewhere on the property a giant nest that they think the birds were living in and that it was a pair and they were out hunting.
So yeah, let me just add a couple of details to this story because this is like the famous Thunderbird story.
Can I hide this?
So
Yeah,
apparently this kid was playing with like 2 other friends that's like scurried away, and evidently he was like a pretty small little guy for his age, and the white ring as described in the article, what is that? Would be like a condor, like some sort of condor bird,
I would think. Yeah.
And then it said like there's other accounts where they were like, then the birds swooped away and tried to roost in the tree near their house, but they were too big for it. But apparently this family took a whole lot of flack for this because it got out around the community, very small community, and they called the kid what's the kid's name? Is like Melvin or something?
Melvin.
In real life? Is his name really Melvin?
No, hold on. Let me
It's
look at
something like that.
Marlin.
Yeah.
That's not better.
And they started calling him Bird Boy. Everyone at
Bird Boy, yeah.
was like Bird Boy,
And,
Bird Boy.
According to
Better
this
than Cock
one
Boy.
dude,
Rooster.
that investigates this kind of stuff,
Different
was
bird.
saying like they went to interview them 2 years later. He was originally a redheaded kid, and 2 years later they like went back, and he was like scared and abused so much to the point where his hair had turned gray.
Oh
which
my God, dramatic.
I don't know if that's like adds credence to the story or makes it like, wow, it's a little wild. I don't know.
This is fucked up.
This is a little messed up.
Aww.
Marlin the
makes me
bird
sad.
boy.
Poor Marlin.
For real.
And your name's Marlin.
Oh, hey, what would be worse, being named Marlin or being attacked by a giant Thunderbird in your backyard?
Marlin.
Because this kid had both.
I was like, both. Yeah. Can't get much worse than that. All right.
I think society needs to have a really stern discussion on what they name their kids because
I agree.
holy shit. Like I've seen like Moon Stardust named.
Okay, I like that.
Like, you just
I hate
gotta
like rich white people names are like Braxton and like
I love that name.
Hebediah.
or naming your kids after gun companies. Stop doing that.
Remington,
This is my
get
son
off the roof.
Winchester and my daughter Smith and Wesson.
Stop. Oh my gosh.
Glock, come here. Your dinner is
Yeah,
ready.
exactly.
Glock, your dinner is ready.
Siggy
Or like,
Soars outside.
Hey,
Yeah, or
AK-47, get back, dinner's ready.
yeah,
Let's just
or
name
like
guns.
That's my baby 9.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
get the opposite. You get rich and poor people naming their children after horrible car companies, and you get like Mercedes.
Daewoo.
Get off the pole and come eat your broccoli.
Oh my god. All right, bring up the next thing, Bree. We're gonna get more into the more recent sighting sides of things.
What do you mean you're not going to college, Fiat?
Specifically, we're talking about the Chicago surge of sightings in 2017. I am going to go through a very large chunk of this list. So I'm going to read to you guys because this is genuinely how many reports happened just in this year. So
Can I
starting
take this
February,
down?
if you want, yeah.
Need it?
Yeah, no. I was just giving a picture of it. So February 8th, remember this is all 2017. February 8th, you have a man driving on Interstate 294 reports seeing what he thinks is a person turn into a large black bird. March 16th, a witness reports a large winged being perched on top of a roof in the Tinley Park suburb of Chicago. March 22nd, a semi-truck driver reports suffering from strange medical maladies after spotting a flying humanoid soaring over Chicago Expressway. April 10th, a woman walking her dog in Chicago's Oz Park reports a run-in with a paralyzing winged being. Mid-March to April, a man reports seeing a humanoid bat dragon. April 15th, 3 separate witnesses report seeing an unidentified flying human over Chicago. April 17th, a woman reports a hulking, hunched-over winged being across the street as she takes the garbage out that morning. April 27th, a man fishing with his son on the banks of Little Clomet in Chicago reportedly sees a weird winged being after hearing an eerie, unexplained sound. May 5th, a man and his son report a bat-like creature out while walking in a park. Within a week of the May 5th sighting, a family walking along the riverfront reportedly sees a flying humanoid cross over a bridge. On May 19th, a group of friends report 2 giant bats.
The CIA has
27th, a married couple reports a large black bat-like creature with glowing red eyes near the intersection. Also on May 27th, a woman and her boyfriend reported a large black flying man with wings. June 3rd, 2 different couples reported encounters with a large bat-like flying humanoid in Lincoln Park. June 17th, a jogger near the Navy Pier reported an enormous bat wing and flying towards the water. Sorry, that was weird.
Jamie,
worded weird.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So this, what's the time span of all these accounts here?
These are all 2017, and I'm not even halfway through the year. It goes all the way until October 27th.
And that's one thing that's important to bring up. The initial, I don't know if it's specific to this cryptid, but they call them like a flap of sightings.
Mm-hmm.
And the initial big one was like in 1948, which is an interesting time of year with Roswell and things like that. And post Aleister Crowley doing sex magic with Jack Parsons in the desert, open the portals up. And then, 48 is another time where people maybe didn't really know exactly what airplanes looked like, things like that. But the point is,
keep going.
Sorry, go ahead. The point is, can I, or what are we going to do? We're like at a stop. We're at a 4-way stop and I'm saying, you go. Now you go. All right.
Say something.
Keep your fucking mouth closed.
Say some shit. Say some shit.
No, the point is there's these like high concentrated, very niche, like short time periods where this seems to happen. So the 48 stuff, which was in Alton, Illinois, where also more or less near Chicago, generally speaking, that was like pretty much all in the month of April. And then like the phenomenon, like the buzz about it peaked and then it was over. And now I haven't heard anything about any more Chicago Batman sightings since 2017, right? That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say it comes in waves and then it goes away.
Well, I mean,
Why-
I have things that are in the area that are mildly similar later on. That's more like recent to time. But this one in particular is like, it was literally like every other week they were having a sighting. And Heisen Longgrass says Chicago was Mothman. Yes, but is Mothman not a giant sky bird? At the end of the day, like they're kind of describing the same thing, kind of, if we're talking about things that are flying in the sky. This is what, to me, not all of these things say like a humanoid. A lot of them are more like bat-like. And if it's dark and it's at night and you have a big black bird, I would think that you would say something like bat and not something like a thunderbird, because you're not necessarily seeing the wings and stuff. You're just seeing black, kind of shiny in the dark. Oh, that's a bat. So that's, I think, the more purpose of talking about all of these sightings is it's very similar to what we're talking about, kind of these weird creature things that are flying around in the sky. And
that happen to be the same general region where this kind of stuff takes place.
Yeah, and because Mothman was already seen in this area before, it's interesting that all of these sightings seem to be more tailored to the Mothman narrative, but who's not to say that that was not influenced by the area, and what if it wasn't necessarily a Mothman, but more a giant bird they were dealing with?
And this goes in. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's also not forget, that the Mothman, we give it that label, right? But it didn't necessarily look like a moth. It was black. It had red glowing eyes. It had giant wings. A lot of that can be interpreted as a thunderbird. And if we were to go back to the original meaning of the thunderbird, it was also known as a humanoid, human avian hybrid. So we are talking a flying. We are talking
Trademark.
real. We are. Yeah.
Trademark.
Don't sue us, please. We can't do that. That's his intellectual property.
Yeah, he's gonna
So let's not forget, we're going into separating, but realistically, it sounds like the same thing.
The same thing.
And I've this goes back to what I talk about a lot. I've finally come up with a name for it. I call it the programmable spectrum. So it's like there's some elements of high strangeness, whether it be like ethereal creatures or like earth elements or fucking ghosts or whatever. Ultimately, what it is the programmable spectrum would be that wavelength that's more or less programmed like with what we would fill in the blanks within the cultural zeitgeist, right? So like Thunderbird, what Native Americans were familiar with, probably big giant birds, right? And then we get to a lot of the descriptions from the 40s were like it was the size of an airplane or like something like that, or like, but still humans are familiar with the concept of birds obviously as well. And then it just kind of all evolves into, it's one of those things that can kind of fill in the gaps as we move through history based on what we would interpret whatever this thing is in the sky. Yes,
Brie.
The only thing I can think of that's remotely notable in 2017 is when all the stuff about
they're Chinese balloons now
came out.
UFO stuff blew up.
But I will say that one of those sightings named Tinley Park, and that's a huge hotspot in that area, literally called the Tinley Park Lights, because that is an area that frequently has its own flaps of UFO sightings, particularly just in Tinley Park. I mean, for years and years and years, they've had flaps there. So I don't know. I'm not saying there's a connection. It's just notable.
Yeah. Okay. I want to read a few more of these descriptions for you guys. And you guys, I think the audience will start to understand what I'm talking about. So an avid bird watcher on August 29th reports a huge flying shadow over a forest preserve. That's interesting. We got another one. A group of friends reported a black demon with large wings. Okay. Another one. A woman walking home from work reports a black
CIA has
by a bat-like creature. You got the bat-like creature again. But a lot of these say like winged being or like things like that, like a being that was perched. It doesn't necessarily say bird or humanoid, but just kind of like, I think, being as a description of, I don't know what the fuck it was.
Man, we had flying humanoids on our BCC list of things to do. I don't know if we should do it anymore because I feel like we're going over most of it now.
We're kind of going over it, yeah.
Yeah, and Angel
right.
Wings reminded me also things like dragons, gargoyles, all those types of stuff too.
For sure.
Absolutely. All right, so now we're gonna get into the more modern sightings, guys, up all the way until early 2020. Okay. Or 2022. So we have in July 2020, a man and his coworker reported seeing a large person with wings. Yeah. Modern Chicago. A large man with wings fly overhead while unloading a plane at Chicago O'Hare's International Airport. There's a lot of airport ones here, which I think are really interesting.
And UFO ties. Another UFO tie.
And we've done the O'Hare International Airport before, and they have
one of my
UFO
favorite
ties.
sightings.
So wait, here's more. A woman, September 24th, 2020, a woman reports seeing a 7-foot-tall red-eyed creature after leaving work at the United States Postal Service storing facility in Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. That's the one that we're talking about there. April 21st, 2021, a man reportedly sees a large humanoid owl while working as a shuttle bus driver at the International O'Hare Airport. December 30th, 2021, a man claims that he and two co-workers saw 3 black red-eyed winged creatures while working near the O'Hare International Airport. February 5th, 2023, a witness reports a groups of sighting of a large man with wings that were wider than a car in Chicago's Little Village. December 29th, 2022, a man claiming to be a fighter reportedly sees a red-eyed winged Batman at Chicago O'Hare's International Airport. And the last one I have on my list is October 25th, 2022. A father and daughter claim to have encountered a thin black winged figure with eyes that were glowing bright red in Little Village neighborhood of Chicago.
Can I say that besides UFOs, they're really like when we talk about like cryptids or anything like this, we don't really see dates this present time like we have in this scenario. I mean, even 2017 is very close to us now, really not that long ago. It's kind of interesting that we have sightings up until 2022. I'm sure there's some this year, but I said
the 2023 one in there as well. There was.
Oh. Mm-hmm. It's just interesting to me that there are so many modern day accounts because I honestly wouldn't have gone past like in my my mind. I wouldn't have even imagined it past.
Well, not just that, but all of them seem to be concentrated in these kind of areas of the Chicago airport or this little village area. So you have these like hot spots. It almost seems like so you have recent sightings in these very 2 particular areas.
And there are theories about how like certain time periods can be more vulnerable, more like I guess what I'm getting at is the world's in like some of the most profound chaos currently, I would say, that we've experienced at least. And I think that there's something to that where like the distress, whatever it is, gravitationally or astrologically, or the distress of the psyche of everyone going through what they're going through, I think that makes us like almost more vulnerable to seeing these kinds of things.
Well, think about it.
Or piercing the veil to let those kinds of things come in.
I mean, I feel
think about like poltergeist activity. Poltergeist activity is also attributed to like adolescent girls that are like very emotional or like, you know what I'm trying to say. I think there's something to that.
It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy.
Say, like in the end times, things will start to manifest and things like that.
Oh, great! So what are you saying? We're in the end times.
You sound like a Corey good that Bobby.
I know. No, but you know what? It's funny because I actually thought about this earlier this week. That Bobby, I know a few times, like over the years. Something we've never done that you've always brought up to us is like, was there something astronomical happening? Like what was in the stars at that time? Could that have created an opening? Maybe, it's a certain conjecture of planets or whatever that opens up some type of
archaeoastronomy.
Yeah. And we've never looked into that, but it seems like when we go over cases like this, it makes sense.
Astrology is just the general term for that, right? Like
no, it'd be archaeoastronomy because you're looking at stars in the past, so it's archaeology, but for this interstellar.
I was saying, but you have to remember too that like the most powerful people in the world, all the way up until like Queen Elizabeth, who just passed, actually had people who did that for them. because
Did
literally
she just pass?
she just passed. But there's a lot of famous people, are not famous, a lot of like the rulers and the kings of the queens of the world had people who did this and calculated things like stars because they wanted their ancestors born on certain days so that they would be strong leaders and things like that. Like back in the day,
Nancy Reagan had a personal astrologer.
Exactly. Like I'm saying, like it's
they were
not
way
something
into that shit.
Like it started a long time ago, and it only kind of, I would say, as of recently, really stopped within the hierarchy of the world. Whereas before, it's like I feel like now it's like everyday people are into astrology. When back in the day, you had to be rich and privileged and hire someone to do all that.
We're into what the peasants are allowed to know about, though. These people
Right.
fucking know about the
well, because back in the day,
they're all like Hermeticism and Gnosticism and shit. Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
I was gonna say, back in the day, people were worried about dying of dysentery.
That's true.
That's true.
I don't know. I just think that there's got to be. I mean, there's obviously some type of science to it, whether or not it is respected currently. It's interesting that back in the day, it seemed to be more respected than it is now.
Yep.
Now it seems to be like just woo, and certain articles, such as from the debrief one that I'll never let go a couple years ago, that said like you're probably like full of yourself,
Pine or whatever his name
like
is.
You're probably full of yourself or crazy if you believe in astrology. But it's like, no, like just because we don't have the type of science that you're looking for today, there's so much evidence that it can't be pushed aside. Like, how can you just blindly push that aside?
Yeah,
when it's
magic
been
is
with
just
us since
science
the
that
beginning
hasn't
of
been
time.
explained yet.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, but back in the day, they literally prescribed cocaine because you had ghosts.
Also,
they like to party.
Also, vibrators were invented so that doctors could stop giving women orgasms because it was making their hands tired.
Yeah.
That just
but it was for
giving
hysteria.
them orgasms easier.
No, that's what I mean.
Because they had hysteria.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like we weren't real sciencey back then, guys.
I feel like whoever invented that vibrator, like it most likely was extremely powerful. I think of it as being like some type of like drill,
like those muscle things you see today,
like just breaking pelvises and stuff.
No.
This is the episode about Thunderbirds.
I love that show.
Yeah, and another one of the explanations is turkey vultures.
All right, let's get back to the episode, guys. What's next? I believe it's Tony's up.
I'm confusing.
Oh, good. Now it's my turn to talk. Real big birds. So this is the Andean condor. This is one of the biggest predatory. Okay.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I just want to say I love how much detail you put on that slide, Tony. It's great.
That's because
at least you changed the font at the top.
Okay.
The rest is Cosmic Sans, but at least we know this is different.
Right.
Papyrus.
Okay, fuckers. So first of all, I actually spent hours reading about all the birds we're about to talk about now. So
Awesome.
fuck
Tony,
you.
high five.
But you didn't write it down for us, right?
High five. Tony.
Yeah, I did.
We don't need it written down.
This is the Andean condor, which has a wingspan of 11 feet and weighs 33 pounds. And believe it or not,
similar to that story we just heard about with the white ring around the neck.
Mm-hmm. So
this is a beautiful bird.
It is. It's native to South America. So
what?
This bird. What?
Never mind. I thought you said a racial slur.
No, it's a kite.
Oh.
So we have big birds here that look like that. They're
called
like thermal
kites.
currents. Called kites. Yeah, we have thousands of them.
Literally a type of bird.
You can't say that.
I thought there was another.
I know what you thought, but you don't.
My family's Jewish. I can say what I want.
I've been reading about birds for days, and I'm tired of it.
Birds aren't real.
Days.
So that was a waste.
Days. Yes.
Quiet, Jamie number 2.
The Andean condor is the largest. So condors are not predatory birds. They actually have rounded off claws.
So we use stone and pounds.
Shut up.
This is awesome. Stop interrupting him.
So this bird, its wingspan is actually 11 feet.
I want to learn about birds.
I'm going to drive to all of your states and countries and kick every single one of you in the fucking cunt.
Are you going to ride your Andean condor to get here, bird boy?
It'd be faster.
All right.
So
just like the Lord of the Rings, right?
Right.
Like, why didn't they just ride those birds the whole time?
If they just traveled on the eagles, they would have made it, to Mount Doom so much faster.
All right, go ahead.
So this bird actually weighs
interrupting.
33 pounds. That's a big ass bird. Not to mention the fact that its wingspan is 11 feet across amongst the largest specimens. I think the average is somewhere around 10.5 feet for males, and I think it's 9.8 feet for females. So it's a really big bird, but like vultures, condors are opportunistic feeders, so they can't kill on their own, so they eat the already dead.
Which kind of throws the condor theory out from the 1977 Lonsdale attack. If they're what do they call it? You called it an opportunity feeder, but
it's
scavenger.
Yeah,
Scavenger.
I have a question for the game warden, Tony. We eat duck and chicken and quail and dove. Do you think something like, I'm assuming these are like endangered and people don't hunt them or something like that, but do you think like a giant condor or like a vulture, some sort of like gamey bird, do you think that would be as delicious as something like turkey or fried chicken?
So funny you bring that up, because this actually came up in my research.
Did you eat a condor tonight?
I did not eat a condor, but Andean condors in South America are actually killed during a festival in Peru, which I was at in October. I did not eat a condor, but they kill a condor.
Jeez.
They kill an Andean condor and they feed their local village with it. So they're actually
like a thing.
Yeah, it's like a local thing, and they are critically endangered, I think.
Do they regularly kill a condor?
They do it anyway?
They do it anyways, and they do it every year.
That's fucked up. Look how beautiful they are. And they're endangered. Oh, I hate people.
It's part of their fucking native ritual. You should love that.
I don't give a
Yeah, that's literally the natives, Bree.
Yeah.
You know what? But I will
like
always
a 1%er.
I will always put the animals before humans any day.
It's
the natives.
I'm cold-wired that way.
Natives. So this picture, this bird, I think is somewhere around 9 or 10 feet.
I want one.
Wing to wing. This is a mature bird, so you can tell, because I spent a long time studying fucking birds.
We know.
So far, I've just heard 11.
Wait, you spent some time
33 pounds.
I did, yeah, doing things I didn't want to. So the brightness of the white feathers is the indication of how old the bird is.
No way.
Like it's graying.
Yeah. So the younger birds are like pure black. They don't have these white feathers.
Because they're young.
Yes. We'll get to
because they're faster.
Okay.
Stronger.
What?
Those young blackbirds are so fast.
I learned something new today.
But if you look at the pattern of
feathers
of the wings, like this is what a lot of what's the shit called with the wood with the birds, and then
trees,
like the wolf totem poles.
Gotcha.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll just come up with it on myself.
I didn't know where you were going.
I thought you were talking about the rings, and that's how we can tell how old a
One of them,
tree is.
Yeah.
First Nations poles.
Because we're clearly talking about trees, but on totem poles, you see the same painting like pattern on the birds, which signifies a thunderbird, as you see on the condor here.
It's so pretty.
It's a totem pole.
But it's flying. They're ugly as shit.
They look gorgeous
Now,
right here.
They got little short faces.
Look at their faces.
I've always heard that these birds without feathers on their faces is because they are scavengers. They need to get all up in them guts.
Oh, that makes sense.
Without getting their
Is that
pretty
like-
faces dirty.
I was like, that's why you got to have the short nails. I get it.
So
okay.
You know what? Yeah, I think it's worth
Get up in the
pointing out
guts.
the juxtaposition of something with an 11-foot wingspan, only weighing 33 pounds. Right?
Could it be
So,
34?
like, that's a lot of feathers. Those are a lot of feathers there, huh?
It is. So it's important to note that these are opportunistic feeders. They can't kill things, but there are pictures of Andean condors attacking wolves.
Damn.
So they're like
Do y'all
swooping
follow,
in and attacking wolves.
Do
They're
y'all follow Nature is Metal on Instagram?
Yes.
yes. It's so fucking
What's
cool.
Instagram?
What's
Nature's Metal's on there.
TikTok? So let's go to the
Chinese
next one.
spyware.
'Cause I'm-
Your
Yes,
mother.
Chinese spyware. Everyone knows that.
I'm in a
Yeah.
trance by this bird.
So
But
we
I think
talked about
buzzards
that-
are good looking, so
No.
All right,
when they
next
in the
up.
morning when they open up
How
their
many real
wingspans
big
to
birds
get
have we got
the sun-
left in this presentation?
5.
A lot.
All
There's probably
right.
like
let's
16
go.
I'm seeing.
All right, next.
Not 16.
Shit.
I'm clicking next.
No, you're not.
Oh,
There we
you go.
go.
that's
The
a
great-
seagull.
Shit, now we have to catch up. There you go.
So this is
All the same font.
the largest bird living today. So
That's a
the
hole in one on par
wingspan,
4.
the wingspan is still 11 feet, but it's actually can get up to like 11.5, 11.8 feet. The great albatross, which weighs 24 pounds, unlike the Andean condor, which can weigh 10 pounds more,
This
is
is so much
mostly
smaller.
it's just a really big seagull.
Yeah.
That's all it really is.
Mm.
So, although this is a huge bird, I don't think this could qualify for something that could be misidentified as a thunderbird. It's just
No.
a really big flying bird.
But that's what people see. They see like the long. I mean, and it could also be because the center isn't as thick as the other one. Like the feathers aren't as long in the center. It's
Well,
like,
I just gotta
yeah.
say, too, even though that's granted a big ass bird, that is the least intimidating looking.
Out of
Looks
all
like
of
a
them, yeah.
black duck.
Yeah. Yeah. So this
That's whack.
picture is actually really impressive because its wings are out and everything. If you look at a
Right.
picture of an albatross on the ground, they look dumb as fuck. They
Yeah.
literally look like big turkeys.
They're meant
Every
to be
time you
murdered.
say-
and eaten.
Every time you say albatross, I just think of that weird like dubstep techno song that's like, I'm an albatross. And it's just like, you know what I'm talking about? Anybody? Yeah,
No,
see,
I
you
don't-
know.
I don't
Okay,
know
thank
what you're
you.
talking about.
Tony knows. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
we all know.
They're seafaring birds. They fly thousands of miles at a time. Mostly they're if you want to see one today, you have to go to South America, between South America and Antarctica. That's really kind of like the only place you're going to see one now. And the
Interesting.
great albatross is the biggest of the seagulls, and that's really just all they are. They're fucking seagulls.
Love it.
Which
Ready?
brings us to the next terror.
Oh fuck!
No,
Now these
That's an
terrifying.
ugly fucking bird.
These are African, right?
Big strong
Yes.
bills. Mm-mm.
So this is the
Jesus,
oh god, I hate this bird.
it's so
This is-
horrifying.
This is the shoebill stork. And I've known about this bird for a long time, but unfortunately, this episode has made me deep dive into why I hate this bird.
I love this.
So its wingspan is 8.6 feet. To put that in perspective, I'm 6'3", and if I put my arms all the way out from fingertip to fingertip, it's 6'7". This bird is
So I keep going like this.
huge, and shoebill storks, which are in Africa, thank God, have a very scary scientific name called Bella. Hold on, I gotta get this right.
Oh, the
Bella
B-Rex.
Nicepus rex. Bella Nicepus rex. Yes. So this is one of the few animals in the animal kingdom that actually has the name Rex in its Latin scientific classification. The other animal is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So if you want to know what it eats, whatever the fuck it wants.
Whatever it's in the fucking mood for.
Or what was it? Was it Theodore Rex, the Whoopi Goldberg dinosaur movie?
Mm-hmm. So these things,
they're a buddy cop duo, and it's a
Karen
dinosaur
Johnson.
and Whoopi Goldberg.
oh, I remember
Theodore
that
Rex.
movie. God, that was horrible. Oh, yeah. So these things eat everything that fits in its mouth. And that includes children. And in case you're dumb enough to let your kids get close enough to this, because they're somewhere around 4.5 to 5 feet tall, and their heads are huge, and they have a great bite force.
And whenever I see this, I think of like the sound it makes. It's like a chomp, chomp, chomp. Like it's with its bill. Like it's so strong and scary. Like it can literally like break you in half.
Yeah, if you want to have
Looks like it has COVID or something, or like rabies. Same
A little
thing.
bit. Yeah, same thing.
That I believe came from I could believe that.
Demonetized.
COVID came from this bird.
Oh shit! There we go.
yeah, I mean, if you want to see something truly horrifying, go look up videos of this thing eating fish.
Oh, it's so
shit!
bad.
Why don't we have that? Cue it up. Ooh, it's a
I'm
ghetto.
sorry.
No, we
it's
literally
scary.
would get demonetized watching the way this animal
Yeah.
murks everything in its fucking path.
Yeah, it's like putting
It is.
snuff on YouTube.
It's
Yeah.
informational.
It's horrible.
It's National Geographic.
Oh, God.
It's really nice. I recommend everyone look it up later.
I want to see.
Oh, God.
Kari's face says it all.
Yeah, I'm literally,
All right, now we gotta show it.
No.
I need to see it. I need to see it.
no. This
Why
is
would
like
Why would
this
you leave us out in the dark?
is one
I'm
of the
a
worst
Theater of the
birds.
mind.
All
yeah.
right, fine. Fuck you guys, man. I have to
So
leave
now
this
we
on my
go
own.
to the next bird.
Oh, it's cute.
which
Oh,
is the
actually, yeah, he's
moa.
kind of cute. Looks like an
Big
emu.
Moa.
Where do you get that photo of me?
Yeah, gee, that is Kari for sure.
So
These
this
are
is the
extinct
moa.
now, right?
Yes, they are. Thank God,
Aw.
extinct.
But relatively
the moa,
recently extinct.
Aww.
I'll shut up.
good. The moa has a wingspan of because it's really just a really big emu. They weigh a lot of pounds, and they have a really stupid name called Dinornithiformis. And moas might be one of the 2 or 3 bird species that are directly related to dinosaurs on a paleontological scale. They're big. They don't have wings. They have little arms that don't do anything, but they have big dinosaur feet and claws, and look at it.
Do they have like maybe
Dinosaur.
kind of like are their arms maybe like their little wings look like little T-Rex arms, and could we be looking at what T-Rex actually look like?
Maybe.
No, this is more like a long-necked retarded chicken.
Okay.
I don't think you could use that word.
The R word
Chicken?
is canceled.
Rare chicken.
I think I'm gonna keep on.
Hate crime.
Yeah, what celebrity does the MOA look like there?
The Swindon?
Haley Bieber.
Definitely hate Bieber.
Tilda
little
Swinton
bit
was
of a
actually
break.
a good guess.
Brendan Fraser.
Brandon Fraser.
Oscar
Brendan
Award winner
Fraser, a
Brendan
little bit,
Fraser.
yeah.
When he won his Oscar.
Yeah, his Oscar winner.
It's like
I'm glad he
I
won.
didn't
Yeah,
ship.
these things
He's
are
excited.
from
Are
New
you
Zealand, and I think they died off like in the early 20th century.
Yeah, so they actually existed with people, which is frightening because they're like
Are people from New Zealand people?
No,
They're emus or ostriches. Jason
no, but
Momoa.
they're like 9 feet tall.
Can I show that? Oh, I don't want to go back. I'll wait.
So everybody, this is what I want people to imagine when we're talking about this next set of birds, including this bird.
That's Aquaman.
That's fucking funny.
I just saw
Those
that.
aren't dragon's eggs. Those are MOA eggs.
So imagine, so you walk outside, you're drinking your coffee. It's first thing in the morning. A little sparrow shows up, and it's like fucking 2 inches tall, and it goes chirp, chirp, flies away, right? Imagine a 9-foot tall bird
Shut the
walks,
front door.
walks in front of you and goes, "Meh."
No.
What the fuck are you going to do?
Run.
Definitely shit my pants.
If
Yeah,
those
I'd be
things
like,
were
what the
said to
fuck?
be within a 100-mile radius of myself,
There
I would
will
walk
be.
with a machete at all times.
There would be
Ah.
a little bit of like some type of brown squirt in my underwear.
I would attempt to establish a dialogue.
Is there not
using
already?
simulation. That way we can implement space program.
I want to hear Kari's plans here.
I'm gonna create a dialogue by going "Mwah," back, and then see if there some kind of diplomacy with the MOA species can be established, and then eventually that will lead to a joint space program, which is pretty cool.
That's the most British
Mm.
response.
I would never
Diplomacy.
I would never encounter one because I would never
I
go to
would
that
offer
side of the
tea.
world because Australia and New Zealand are scary and full of things that could murder you. So no thanks.
Including the
Really
people.
far.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, it gets better.
Don't
Bree.
forget about the drop bears.
On
Next
it.
slide.
Yes,
Oh, I
sir.
see you've played knifey spoony before.
Classic.
So,
the movie quote.
Rocky, mate.
so now we have literally in the fossil record the largest flight capable
Shit, son.
bird, Argentavis. Thank
It's
God
like a
it's
vulture.
extinct. This bird literally has a wingspan of 20 to I think it's 23 feet.
Mm.
So imagine a short bus, which I would guess most of us rode.
We all
to
know what those
school.
look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all rode them to school.
Ridden a
So
fan.
that's how big this bird's
My
wings
bus was shorter.
I literally rode a short bus for an entire year, and it wasn't because I was in a special class.
Lies.
In
'cause
the
I was at a
UK, they
special
still use,
school.
I'm not special. The school is special.
Sorry.
Hi, Bobby. How you doing?
That
Somebody has a
actually,
case of the giggles.
I'm literally crying.
Oh yeah. So as
Now,
you can
this is
see,
streaming.
as you can see, this this bird is really big, and
As big
Go
as
to
I
that
look.
next slide real quick because that'll put more perspective on this.
so
Wait, what'd you say?
Go to the next slide,
unfortunately,
please.
So we don't actually know what it really looked like. So
Holy
going
shit.
to the next slide. Yes, so it's really
Wow.
big. So the Andorran condor there on the left, but they only recovered, I think it's like
Shit.
9 or 10 bones from Argentina's
Mm-hmm.
magnificent.
Is
It's
this
not,
Speculative.
yeah, it's a speculative size, but they recovered enough
Put
to
out
know,
based on the size of the bones.
yeah, how big the bird is. But oh my god, look at the size of that bird.
No.
Is it considered a predator?
It's a print, yeah. Based on the skull.
So in the
skull
biopic,
had
Kevin
teeth.
Spacey is going to play it, right?
Not that kind of predator, but
Directed by
close.
Bryan Singer.
Oh, spicy!
Double whammy.
I love
Victor
Kevin
Salva.
Spacey.
And written by Victor Salva.
Get
So
out.
does
Kevin
Jeffrey
Spacey's my
Epstein.
favorite.
Get out.
He's Jeffrey Epstein's favorite.
I mean
too.
it.
Right?
Don't care.
I'm
Jesus.
Kevin Spacey.
Moving
I'm
on to the next
sorry.
bird.
I do love
I'm-
Glengarry Glen Ross.
I'm sorry.
He was really
Aww.
good in 7. So notable mentions.
Wait,
So-
what is going on here?
We'll talk
It looks like a
about.
bird of paradise.
We'll talk about that. That is not a bird of paradise.
That
Looks
is
like
a
it.
fugly ass bird.
So
I'm scared.
the flock of fuckers on the left
You
here.
flock of seagulls.
The flock of birds on the left are what's called emus.
Oh, emu.
These are emus. Emus I wanted to bring up as a notable mention just because it's the only bird that a country has literally gone to war with and lost.
What?
¿Por qué?
So if
¿Por
you
qué
don't
no los
know,
dos?
if you don't
Okay.
know this, the
For sure, for
country
sure.
/ continent of Australia went to war with the bird called the emu
That's fucking weird.
and lost.
That is insane.
It's hilarious.
Man, that just opened up so many thoughts about mythology. If you were closer to nature and there were more predators out there and you hadn't cleared the land so much, these going to war with animals may have been like relatively common, like in what happened in Australia with the emus. So like if you're trying to, like, I don't know, settle in some area with alligators or something, you might go to war with some alligators, and then that becomes part of your folklore.
Right.
You fought the
Flabbergasted.
alligators. You fought the emus. You know what I'm saying?
That's fucked
Imagine
up, man. They
this
have
is-
a leg up on them though. They don't even know what's coming, but the people do. They're like, all right, we're gonna hit them at like 5 o'clock in the morning. They have no
So-
idea,
so-
and they still won.
So,
So
Tony,
this
do you have
is-
any more like context with the war? Like, were they competing for the?
You fuck with the war? I thought
Yeah.
that's what.
I fucked with the war. So the whole thing that
Just
happened
don't know about
was-
Pangea.
has nothing to do with Pangea. But what happened was
This bitch don't know about
Australia's-
Pangea.
I know, right?
I know all about Pangea, bitch.
Do you fuck with the what?
It's fake.
So
Tony's
the
too right-wing to
farmers
believe in
in
Pangea.
Australia had a problem with the emus because emus eat whatever emus want to eat. And this was shortly after
Base
World War II, I believe. It might have been between World War One. Stop doing that.
Jeez.
Talking about the war with the fucking emus.
I
and the Aussies.
really am interested in the emu war, and people keep zooming in on the face of that creature.
I'm sorry, someone said that bird got a horrible case of cotton pain.
Oh, hi there, Greg.
It is
I hope
World
you can
War One.
sleep. I hope this relaxes you.
So basically,
That's pretty funny.
just to cut this down, basically what happened is there were more emus than Australia was willing to send their army to fight the emus. Not that Australia suffered any real casualties. They just could not kill birds.
Just gave up.
They gave up. So the
Like
emus
Vietnam.
just kept coming. It's like yes, like Vietnam or Afghanistan.
Or name war
Just zombies, man.
or an entanglement.
Yeah.
Oof.
And then the next thing that we have in the middle here is what's called a terror bird. So this is a prehistoric bird. And I think, do I have its scientific name pulled up? No, I don't.
It looks like the shoe bill, no?
No, it's
Little bit.
it's horrible.
Why does it look
It
like
looks
that,
like a peacock
though?
without the peacock.
Oh, no,
So
it doesn't.
This bird is 9 feet tall,
Holy shit.
and it literally just killed everything that it could. And it's native to what used to be Brazil. I think it was around 10,000 years ago. So, but it just ate everything. It's got little chicken wings. You can see it's a little chicken wings on the side there.
Oh my gosh, they're T-Rex wings.
Yeah, it's got little chicken wings on the side of it.
I'd put Thai. I'd baste it in Thai seasoning, Thai spice.
Yeah, you
Oh,
know, this
okay.
thing.
Yum. Little curry.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just
you know,
specifically
into
talking
it.
about those wings, but yeah, why not? Let's make it.
It could be that's
Little curry
if that bird
powder,
is
little
9
coconut,
feet tall,
Human.
then the wings would be like huge, right?
a foot. They'd probably
Oh.
be about a
Forearm,
foot.
like a forearm.
I was thinking it would be like a chicken sandwich, but maybe not, I guess.
Not a chicken sandwich.
Think
No,
about how
chicken
strong
sandwich.
that neck's got to be.
Oh, to hold that head up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Goddamn.
So next to it, we have another Australian terror.
We have another question.
Billy Idol.
Oh, never mind. I don't have a question.
Okay. So we're talking about the blue-headed fucktard on the
Oh.
right.
Tony, remember we were saying.
He said fucked hard, actually.
Okay, I think
I'm
that's.
allowed to say that.
Oh, okay.
This
Now
That
that-
one was allowed. That one was allowed.
Because
Yeah,
the
this
word
is like
hard
creature.
is taken from the original word, which is canceled. Therefore, the word fucktard would also therefore be canceled.
No.
That's
This
just
is-
fucktards around allowed.
This
Don't-
is the.
Don't blame me just because I'm the lefty in the group. I'm not trying to be woke.
I'm keeping fucked hard.
Are you the only leftist in the village?
Basically.
God, I just want to talk about this fucking stupid
I just want to hear about the bird. God damn it.
I know,
Hey.
right?
Hey.
See?
Hey.
So
I just want to
Tony
point out
talk.
that this is the type of bird that you would run into that would be like a harbinger in a Final Fantasy game or Secret of Mana. Any other RPG fans out there? All right, moving along.
it also looks like a chicken nugget with a blue wiener hanging off the end of it. So this is called a cassowary, which, surprise, surprise, Australia, which is home of everything, every reason why you should never go there. These are actually the most dangerous bird in the world.
Really?
What? That
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
This
I wanna,
motherfucker.
like, tee off from its head.
Much more dangerous. So you see those big dinosaur feet?
They look like snake heads from afar.
They're so weird and flat, like almost like they're meant to be in water.
They look like that because of the way our AI separates the bird from the picture.
Oh,
Photoshop fail. Got you.
Yes, absolutely.
Not as bad as the one up there, though.
The way our AI.
Yeah. So this thing actually, yeah, not as bad as that.
There's no technical
So this
difficulties. What are
bird
you doing?
actually has,
Yeah,
like,
it's the photoshopping.
it
Creator
actually has
difficulties.
like I think it's 6 to 8 inch long talons on each one of its toes.
Is it a kicker?
Really?
I bet it's a kicker.
Oh, it's a kicker. Because every single person who has died from an encounter from a cassowary has died because they were on the ground. One of them
Oh,
was in
shit.
Australia. The other was in Florida. He was a 75-year-old male who, and he actually, so that situation.
The bird was a male, or the guy that died was a male?
The guy who died was a male.
What's he doing, sleeping on the ground?
No, he
Homeless.
fell. He fell in the cassowary's cage. And the bird attacked him.
He didn't have his life alert on him.
They stomped.
You know what? Because he was caged.
No.
Coming out of my
He doesn't belong in a cage.
Well, clearly,
that's why.
he needs to be in a cage that's murdering old people if you let him run in the wild.
Literally, look at it.
I mean, it's Florida. There's a lot of old people
chicken
being
nugget.
murdered.
Yeah, that would just take up half of Florida's population.
Right.
That sounds like a good solution.
Oh,
Wow.
I guarantee you, all you have to do
Eugenics hour with Bree.
all you have to
The
do
final solution, Bree?
just
Well, shit, what would the percentage of the
Wow,
red
we
be
just
after
went right
that?
over that.
Oh, man.
so this bird is literally a dinosaur. I
we
mean,
propose
look
that
at
to
it.
Congress?
It's got big giant dinosaur feet. It's probably the last of the dinosaurs. You have the ostrich, which is somehow still alive, but I mean, these birds can
Where
run
are the
like
wings?
they don't have. They opted out of wings for claws and big feet.
So they only have. So they only have 2 legs and that's it.
They have 2 legs and little dipshit wings.
Where
Like little T-Rex arms.
Yeah,
But they're
little
hiding.
I'm just
T-Rex
saying,
arms.
literally, if you
Wait.
put T-Rex in feathers and not in reptile skin, these all just look like different versions of T-Rexes to me.
They're all dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're literally dinosaurs.
All of them are.
Look,
Literally. So
I missed-
if you guys haven't figured this out, scientifically, birds and dinosaurs
What are?
are the same animals.
Mm-hmm.
It has been through x-rays and genetics and actually understanding how history works and understanding how evolution works. Dinosaurs, especially 2-legged dinosaurs and predatory dinosaurs, are no different from birds. What the fuck are y'all laughing at?
Joe 5D is the peanut gallery tonight.
I know, right?
He is. Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Little baby.
Dino DNA.
Bingo.
Hello, John.
Not the
Hello,
mama.
John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John. Hello, John.
You didn't
I
say
just
the
need
magic
to
word.
break in your blood.
Hey, I have a
really,
question
really hate
because
that
I
now.
missed it in all the chaos and buffoonery that we have going on tonight. When you said these things kill people, do they step on them? Do they kick them? How does that work? I missed all that.
So they stomp.
Uh-huh.
And when they stomp, because they have 6 to 8 inch claws in each one of their toes, they eviscerate people. And they've only killed 2 people, but that's 2 more people than any bird in the history of the last few hundred years has ever fucking killed.
Okay, so I have a question. What did you say birds were related to in ancient history?
Dinosaurs.
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 So do they listen to hardstyle and then they do like the hardstyle shuffle and they just murder?
No, they do.
Does he have
Everybody
to know
walked the dinosaur.
techno music for that?
Now I want to find out.
Or imagine that our favorite video of them and then they're you know what I'm talking about? Under the bridge.
Can you imagine a fucking 6-foot chicken following you through your house? Like, imagine, like, this thing weighs 240 pounds. Imagine this thing. You
That
live
thing's
in
not just
northern
feathers.
Australia, and this thing walks into your house, and it's like, the fuck you gonna do?
Yeah.
Lord have
No, not a
mercy.
thunderbird because it doesn't fly, but it is a dinosaur.
It's a dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
It's never going to get old to me.
Dinosaur.
Okay, I think
It's
I'm
dinosaur.
Wow.
I go to the next slide, Bree.
Bree, you should do a ASMR
You guys would have to know.
video of you just saying
it's an
dinosaur
inside
and then
joke.
moaning. This is Bobby's fucking movie recommend. What did we do? We got the little
Oh
video.
shit!
Some shit.
Someone
What
click
time
it.
is
Wait,
it?
yeah, you got it. You gotta warn me before that. Yeah.
Good, everybody. This topic of Thunderbirds was deserving of a double feature movie recommendation, and the first is 1982's Larry Cohen directed Q the Winged Serpent. It's about a giant flying lizard monster that murders people in New York City in the 1980s, and it is fucking awesome. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Yes, sir. Quetzalcoatl, the same name as the god for the Mayans that they believe lives in the very center of the Milky Way galaxy.
So this is stills from
Q
the Winged Serpent. You might notice in the bottom left-hand corner, that's the famous David Carradine. You might know him. The younger people might know him as Bill from Kill Bill. And yeah, it's Larry Cohen, who did a lot of schlock in the 70s and 80s. I think I recommended It's Alive a few episodes ago when we did like Changelings or something. It's same guy. Michael Moriarty's in this as well, who is also in The Stuff, which is another Larry Cohen film. Highly recommended. He's a
David
hero.
Carradine Keith Carradine's brother?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Keith Carradine's a great actor.
They're so foreskinny.
And this is all like very
everything is
flying acid dicks in New York City, murdering window washers. But yeah, it's all that like old school stop motion animation. I think it's Ray Harryhausen who did this next movie, the stop motion animation on this next movie. If it's not him, it was definitely inspired by his work. He's probably the greatest stop motion animator of all time. Famously, you might remember him from doing like the skeleton scene in Jason the Argonauts, Clash of the Titans with Medusa.
Right. Awesome
but
scene.
This one is Mysterious Island. I think this is like from 67-ish, and it's based on the Jules Verne novel of the same name, and it's in the Captain Nimoy multiverse. Can we go to the next slide, please? The reason it's on the list is because it's fucking awesome. And it has giant bees, it has a giant crab, and it has a giant chicken, which is why I put it on the Thunderbird movie recommendation list. And if you want to see some like really badass like 1960s love in filmmaking, this shit is so fucking good. So
who wins? I feel like the crab would win, but
I feel like
I don't know if that scene actually happens in the movie, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
that's like crab would kick ass.
That is a cooked crab with a baby chicken and a hornet.
Wait, crabs aren't that color red unless they're cooked?
Oh shit.
Lies.
Sorry.
No, there are some crabs out there, okay?
Are there?
It does look cooked though, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's a cooked crab.
Yeah,
It's
like
just
the
a glaze.
redness of it is usually
It's just a
indicating that it's
glaze.
cooked. Yeah.
It's a
It
nice
it
glaze,
communicates
yeah.
crab to the general public. They're like, oh yeah, I saw that at Red Lobster. That's a crab. That's how you identify crabs in this shot here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Q the Winged Serpent. Definitely watch that, and definitely watch Mysterious Island from the 60s.
Fucking red crabs.
That chicken, it literally does not have all of its feathers. Look,
why are its feet as big as its head?
It's ready to be devoured.
Because it's probably like a 3-week-old chicken.
Okay.
So lastly, I just want to show you guys, this is the only known footage evidently of a real Thunderbird. It is attributed to turkey vultures by skeptics, but still interesting to look at. It, to me, show the video. To me, it looks like a big ass bird in the sky. I mean, it doesn't necessarily look.
It's a buzzard.
Super huge.
It's a vulture.
A kite.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of people think it's a turkey vulture, but the guy that like shot it was all like, "Nah, I got some footage of some Thunderbirds."
Oh yeah,
I mean, they're pretty big.
They're big.
Yeah.
That's probably good.
That's huge.
6 or 7 foot wingspan. I mean, that's.
But
it's a
to
big
me,
bird.
like if I saw that, I'd be like, "Oh wow, a big bird!" But I wouldn't film it and be like, "Oh my god, a cryptid."
And worth noting, I believe this was shot in the same part of Illinois where all these sightings happen. So
Look at it.
I mean,
It's huge.
clearly
that's
a
Yeah, that's
vulture.
pretty big.
That's probably a turkey vulture.
whatever it is. It's a
It could
big
be an
ass
eagle.
bird.
I think this was the same video that was featured in the Monster Quest one, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember.
this is like the Patterson Gimlin film of Thunderbirds, I guess.
It sure.
I mean, honestly, every summer I see probably 20 or 30 of these birds. They
That big?
circle overhead all the time.
But this
There's
is zoomed in.
Yes, but that big. It's 4 blocks away from me where they all,
Oh,
perch
Okay.
at. I can literally this summer I'll take
Can we
pictures
call that number?
of the turkey vultures and I'll take video of the turkey vultures and we will play it and kind of do
Next to
like
that.
a review back on this to what they look like. I mean, they're just big ass fucking vultures.
All right, are we ready to fact or sci-fi it?
Hold on just a
I
moment, please.
am ready. Oh, okay.
And then I have a book recommendation.
Okay, Kari, give us a book recommendation.
The fuck is a book?
I don't know. I can't.
I don't
read.
know. No one knows
I
how
mean,
to read.
it's fitting that I'm reading it at the moment because it's kind of fitting with the Native American lore. But I'm reading Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian,
Yeah.
which is a
Mm,
classic.
Yeah, British. Yeah.
So
I read The
neat.
Road on an airplane, and that was a
Yes.
very
I
upsetting
bet.
airplane.
Yeah, I bet that
Turkey's
was
blood,
an
you taste
extremely
delicious.
depressing flight.
Yes.
A very
I read,
long sentence of pure don. Sorry.
I read
Beans and-
No Country for Old Men recently as well. That
Beans
Yeah.
and
Ew.
toast and yes.
Yeah, beans and toast.
Yeah.
So Enzo can do the honors. It's Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy.
Two
Do you have
things.
something, Brie?
I do.
Okay.
Where did
No,
I
it's
think
not
they
an
go?
LSD book.
It's
It's a
not
Wild
letting me
West book.
share anymore. What the fuck?
It's a book about the Wild West.
It's not letting me share. Hold on.
Weird.
What's
Did they end up
happening?
making a movie of that, Kari?
No, they should though.
Here we go.
I swear they were
Um,
talking
No,
about
they
it.
did The Road and they did.
First, I'm just gonna say there's lots of red crabs.
Ooh,
Mm.
I'm gonna fact
Anyways,
red crabs.
so
I searched the interwebs. There's lots of red crabs, but two, for context on that fucking shoe bill, look how giant. This
Yeah,
thing
those
is.
are huge.
they're like 5 feet tall.
Oh no, it won't let us play. You slut whore bag.
Mm.
Well, at least you know
Mm.
that, like, compared to this person, that is how big that fucking bird is.
That
No,
thing's
Yeah, that's a
literally
whole-
terrifying and could eat my face.
it could swallow. Yeah, it could literally just one bite. Just
Yeah, it's
Done.
a whole grown ass man. And if y'all don't understand that birds are one step above lizard, brain, eat, fuck, kill, repeat, they're barely one step above that.
Fact
So
or
I just-
sci-fi?
I'm actually gonna go fact for this one.
ooh.
Wow.
I know, right? No, I think there's a lot of there's been stories for centuries of big birds, and I think there's probably species of birds out there that we haven't discovered or known about.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm a 10. I'm like a 9, but
Gotcha. All right,
There you
I'm
go.
gonna have. Oh, I'll go next. I'm gonna hard middle bitch this one because I feel like what we most likely have is a case of misidentification, but at the same time, you have the Native American lore attached to it, so it puts me back in the middle with that one because most of the story to me is just, it sounds like misidentifications of things that they just don't understand. They see something big in the sky, it's far away, they don't understand the size of it, and so to them it's huge and ginormous. So I'm middle bitching this one.
I have a very complicated answer per usual.
Love it.
One, birds aren't real, so no,
100%. Yeah, that's right.
So I like to think about it like this. I think that humans may have at some point encountered a massive bird that demanded it be fed children. Because I think it's one, I believe that ancient history, I think humans have been around a lot longer than we're told, for one.
Yeah.
And or at least civilization was reset several times or something. I don't know. But you think about, like, I forgot what it's called, but I think we've talked about it before. It's like when there's like a lot of carbon on the earth, everything is much bigger. I think it's carbon, including the animals, and the vegetation and things like that. So why not things like birds? And why not could humans overlap on that timeline, whether it be that big ass bird from that era or some sort of descendant of that bird that happened to be much bigger than birds we see today. So that's one theory. And all that said, we are familiar with birds as well. Humans are they've observed birds, so they're like a natural descriptor, I guess, or a natural archetype to fill with something, right? So, and I also believe that birds we acknowledge and recognize today can get freakishly large. There can be anomalously large birds, even for the larger bird species, which can result in a misidentification. So I'm not sure if misidentification really adds any credence to a sci-fi claim here, because I think what it is what it is. Now, whether you want to call it a Thunderbird and say it has lightning coming out of its eyes, no, that's not this. I don't think that's this. But people are seeing a big fucking bird, right? And it wouldn't surprise me if a big bird might take upon himself to try to pick up a child and swoop it 10 feet across his backyard, and then realize this is not worth the effort, right? So I'm going to go 8. The only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is because of the sensationalized folklore side of it. But I believe in big birds. I watched one on PBS
big
every
bird in the
day.
big bird house.
Follow that.
All right, Tones, Malones.
So, since I had to do all the research into the factual side of this, I'm going to give this a 6-ish. I think so. Talking about the Argentina's really big bird that has a 23-foot wingspan, that unfortunately we don't have all the bones to say this is what type of bird it is, but we know that really large birds tend to be predators. Well, actually all birds are predators. I don't like birds in general. I mean, they're just either they're really smart or they're really fucking stupid, and they're cannibals. They'll do all sorts of horrible stuff.
Wait, birds are humans.
But does your subjective feelings about birds influence whether you're facting or sci-fiing a Thunderbird?
Oh, okay. So you just call me out. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I don't like birds, but I think there might have been a species that fit this initial description without it being like supernaturalized, without it being
Right.
Made into like a religious totem. So yeah, there's really big birds, and people a few hundred years ago were like, oh my god, when they flap their wings, thunder happens. No, maybe just that's how they interpreted it. nature's a lot more scary than people interpret nature to be.
Nature is very scary to me.
So I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna revise this. I'm gonna give it the story of 4, but I'm gonna give the actual natural explanation a 10.
Fantastic.
I don't know if that's
About
allowed,
where
but
I
we'll let it we'll let it slide this time.
Well,
That's kinda
just
where I
it
am.
sounds to me like a fact. Yeah, it sounds to me like he's facting.
Let's split the difference and call it a 6.
He started with the 6. Okay.
He started with the 6 anyway, so. All right, Bree.
Let's split the difference and call it an 8.
I'm gonna align with Kari and Bobby's claim a bit more because I'm unsure of where Tony's landing at currently.
In outer space.
Inside the closet. Trapped inside the closet.
Because I do for the same reasons. You know, I think it is possible that there was a huge biggie bird that survived, maybe some type of dinosaur, some type of dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
I don't know. I think it's possible. It'd be possible to hide out. You never know. I mean, that's what a cryptid is, right? It's an animal that we have yet to identify, and sometimes we do. And I think it's very plausible that there is a giant bird out there. I can't say I'm not gonna put limitations on nature. Are you kidding me? Hell no.
So you're facting it.
Hell yeah.
Bam.
All right.
We got
Right
like
on.
3 or 4 facts maybe on this one. It depends.
3.
Tony
No,
Tony was more of
so
a
first, look, every fucking bird
Tony's
is
a
a
strong
dinosaur.
middle bitch.
I'm
Yeah.
a strong middle bitch because
He's a
there
strong
are
He's a
really
switch.
big
You
birds.
know what I mean? He's not top, he's not a bottom.
Yeah.
he fucks both ways, man. I
Exactly.
get it.
Like Danielle
I get
seems
it.
strong, you know what I mean?
Every
It is very
single
hokey.
fucking bird is a
He's
dinosaur.
a power middle.
power bottom.
He's a champ about it.
Is this fucking episode over yet?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But you have to stop talking.
Hey, I got good news for you on that question, though, Tony. We got Bree left on the old Fact or Sci-Fi here.
She already did. She just did it.
We did.
All right. Well, I
So-
think that's it then. I think that's the
Right.
show,
Oh.
guys.
Good job.
Bobby
I
tunes me out. He's like, did she talk already? Oh, God, she's about to
She's
talk.
done? All right.
I know.
let's
I
go.
just- no, I was
Okay.
I was just riffing. I was just joking.
All right. Is there
Um,
any final thoughts, you guys? Does anyone else have
yeah, I
anything
just
to
want to
say?
say this weekend in Cibolo, Texas, I will be at the Monsters and Legends convention.
How cool!
Wow.
You
Yeah,
better
I'm not like
film
I'm
for
just gonna
that.
be there as a civilian. I'm not like
Attending.
Yeah. Film some
I'm not
stuff
like
for us so we can
a
see.
guest or anything.
Bring it into
Uh,
Bobby's Cryptid Corner next
um,
week.
You should be a guest.
Do like a little reporting,
maybe one
like
day.
be like, "Hi, I'm Bobby, and I'm on the scene."
I'm the guy that talks shit on the internet that kind of knows about this stuff. Anyway, if anyone in the chat's gonna be there, please come say hi. I don't know. I'm like 6'6", 250 pounds.
Yeah, you won't miss him.
So, Bobby, other than that, where can we find you?
Not For Everyone podcast is my podcast. It's a cult horror movie podcast. I've got a new episode dropping. I think I'm going to finish editing it right now after this episode. So I hope to have it out by tomorrow. 1982's Charles Bronson starring Death Wish 3.
Ooh,
Which is an absolutely bananas town
fancy.
movie that is highly
Sick.
recommended. It's a triple feature for tonight on my recommendations.
Triple
Anyone else got anything to plug?
I was like, "Yeah, Tony, you got any final words?"
Yeah, you can find me here every Tuesday and Thursday. This Thursday we have Uninformed, which, if you are uninformed, understand that we take our bare, what do we call it, raw?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Our bears on cocaine.
our raw responses to any subject that we have, and it's just us fucking around and having a good time and talking to each other.
Hell
Pissing off
yeah!
Bree.
Friendship porn is what I like to call that.
Ooh, I like that. All
Yeah.
right, Bree, what about you?
That's
What about
this is.
me?
That's what this show is.
You got any final thoughts where we can find you?
You can find me. You can find me in Indian Wells from the late end of May through the first week of June at Contact in the Desert. Buy your tickets now. There's only 2 days, including today, to get your early bird passes at the cheap price. And that's where I'll be. If you want to meet in person, if you want to have hugs and kisses, I'm there.
Wow.
And Bree is very handsy.
Put that out there on the internet. But okay.
Yeah, Bree's very handsy. All right, Car, what about you?
You can find me running for my life from Bree.
Yeah, for sure.
I will be. I know Kari and I are gonna have a sleepover the first night or two. So I'm like, oh my god,
I'm gonna be in the corner, no, not like this.
Snuggle it, you know, bed.
If you see somebody come out of the trunk of a car,
it's Kari.
Contact in the Desert. It's either Kari or me, because one of us is gonna hide in the trunk.
I plan to steal Kari's passport.
It's like a Cormac McCarthy novel.
It's gonna be a modern day human trafficking. I'm gonna steal your passport.
Right.
Oh, so you can't go home.
Modern day human trafficking, or as I like to call it,
I'll steal your job.
It's going to be like a real life. No.
All right, Kari, where can I find you?
You can find me on the internet at Fires of Truth on the Twitter.
Is your Twitter unlocked now?
I'm back up.
You're back and raw and in the open?
Yeah, I'm all flapping out and everything.
All right, everyone, and I'm Jamie, and I don't want you to find me on the internet. I'm your friend on YouTube and Discord.
You know where to find Jamie.
That was a 2-hour episode. Can we wrap
you later?
This up?
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, bye.
This music is so intense.